Hi students, in this video we are going to see about the preparation of accounts in case of admission and retirement of a partner. What are these accounts about? We have to prepare different ledger accounts for the preparation of final balance sheet. So in case of admission and in case of retirement, the accounts are going to be similar. So let us see what are those accounts to be prepared by us. We have 5 accounts to be prepared in case of admission of a partner as well as retirement of a partner. But looking at this account, like we have 5 accounts in the sense, it's not such a difficult task. It's very simple. The main thing which we need to concentrate is revaluation account and the balance sheet. All the next rest part of goodwill account, partner's capital account, cash account is going to be very simple. Only important thing is you have to learn how to post it. So now let us just observe. First we are going to prepare revaluation account. You have to keep it in your mind, so once when you recall it, it's easy for us. So when as we start doing the illustration sums, it's easy for us, it becomes a practice. So first we have revaluation account. What is this revaluation account? Why it is prepared? Revaluation account is nothing but recording your assets and liabilities value for the present situation, comparing with the market, whether there is an increase or decrease. So this is why we are preparing revaluation account, and if there is any profit or on that or a loss that is received by a company, we are going to share among the old partners. It's going to be shared among the old partners, which means it is going to be distributed to the old partners on the admission of a new partner. Then goodwill account. This is an account which is going to be prepared to know that what is the amount brought in by the new partner to be shared by the old partners, which means the old partners are sacrificing some of their profit to the new partner who is coming in. So for that case, just to you have to scope with that or cover their losses. Goodwill brought in by the new partner is being shared among the old partner. It is maintained, it is just maintained to satisfy the old partners. Then partners capital account. What is this partners capital account? Partners capital account we are going to prepare after the admission of a new partner, additionally including the new partner. So everything have to be changed, because so far we were maintaining only the previous old partners. If one partner is additional to a company who is coming in that case even the partner's capital account will have a change. Then cash account. What is this cash account and why it is prepared? If our new partner is bringing some capital investment that is going to be brought either in the form of a cash or in the form of a check, so that is going to affect the cash as well as your bank balance. So to make that change, we are going to prepare the cash account. Whether this includes completely with the goodwill, the new partner's capital, whether the old partners have to bring some other additional capital which is required, or it has to be excess paid out to them, which means surplus or deficit. So all these we are going to consider in case of cash account. Next, new balance sheet. New balance sheet, I guess you people know, it's very similar in case of all other balance sheet which we have done. That's very simple. A small changes we are going to just learn in this new concept. Next, coming for goodwill and its treatment, we have different methods of valuation of goodwill. The goodwill is valued under average profit method, super profit method, and capitalization method. What is this average profit method? In a simple way, here average profits earned by the company for maximum 2 years or 3 years or 4 to 5 years. It depends upon how they are going to agree among themselves. So based on that, they are going to take the average profit, and that is going to be treated as a goodwill amount that should be brought in by the new partner. Next, super profit method. What is the super profit method? Again, maybe here they might consider maximum 4 years or 5 years. Out of this last 5 years of profit, which was a profit that was completely to a super level, which means to the highest level that is being considered, and that will be taken up for goodwill amount to be brought in by the new partner. Next, capitalization method. This method is treated based on the capitals of the partners, and depending upon certain calculations, you are going to consider what is the goodwill amount to be brought in by the new partner based on the calculations of the capitals. So now we are going to take up only average profit method for your concerned syllabus of your PU level. So moving on to the super profit and capitalization, we need not break ahead because that is going to be only in your degree level. So this average profit method is going to be very simple and easy. When we are moving on to the illustration calculations, we will come to know how it is going to be taken up by us for the calculation. Next, we have goodwill treatment, that is treatment of goodwill. How this goodwill is treated up? First, there are 4 cases. First case is about goodwill brought in by cash and withdrawn. So, main thing in admission of a partner, the important thing which we need to concentrate is goodwill treatment. When the goodwill is brought in by the new partner in the form of a cash and that has been withdrawn by the old partners, how we are going to follow the steps. Then goodwill second case, brought in cash and retained, which means it is not going to be withdrawn or used by the old partners. They are going to maintain it. In this case, retained word, the goodwill will appear in the balance sheet. Then goodwill raised and retained, it's just a verbal, which means you're agreeing upon verbally stating that the concerned partner is going to bring it, but it's only raised and it is going to be retained. They are just going to show that the goodwill is going to be raised to a certain amount, and then it is going to be shown in the balance sheet. Then goodwill raised and written off. So they're just going to show that raised in essence is not going to bring it in the form of cash. It's only a verbal stating that the goodwill is going to be raised. So how we are going to treat this, and this is going to be written off by the old partners in their ratios. So we are going to just check how actually the goodwill treatment is going to be made, and based on this only your each and every illustrations will differ. Apart from that, all the rest part of methods and the steps will be just similar and simple. Next, now we are going to see the format of revaluation account. See, the first account in case of admission of a partner is revaluation account, and it is very important to know the basic format, why we need to follow this. So if we just mug up looking at this, it's not going to be benefit for us, because we will only know that because it was given we need to follow, we have to take it, but that's not the way. We are going to just clarify with all the important basic things to know better, so that it's easy for us to explain even to others at any cost, at any time. Now let us see, in case of revaluation, what actually revaluation is. Revalue, we are going to record the assets and the liabilities value which is completely changed, okay, with either it's going to be increased or it is going to be decreased, comparing with the current market price. That is why we are revaluing it, comparing from the book value to the present market value. So if concentrating on this, your book value is the cost price, the asset price when you purchased it, but market price is your present value of the asset being in the market. Now, for example, in case of an asset, you have purchased an asset, a fixed asset for 10,000 rupees. So the book value is 10,000, but Now, all of a sudden, when you wanted to know what is the actual value of the same asset in the market today, so suppose if the value is going to be 11,000, so there is a 1,000 increase, which means there is a profit for the company, there is increased value, that is a benefit. Suppose if the value is going to be 8,000, there is a decrease of 2,000, which means the value of that asset is reduced, and that is going to be a loss for us. So this is a comparison we are going to take. Now observe, seeing the debit side and the credit side. Credit side, we are going to take increase in value of an asset or appreciation. It's one and the same. Appreciation and increase in value of the asset, you have to take on the credit side. As I said, if the value of your asset is 11,000 comparing to the market price, so the difference is 1,000. 1,000 is the increase. At 1,000, we are going to take it on the credit side. Similarly, if there is a decrease in the value, as I said, your current market price of the asset is 8,000 and the difference is going to be 2,000, as the book value of asset is 10,000, which means 10,000 minus 8,000, 2,000 is going to be a decrease in the value of the asset. So that decrease or depreciation, I'm going to take it on the debit side because it is a loss for us. Imagine if you have decided to sell the asset, so what could happen? It could be a loss. So that is why we are revaluing. That is why the revaluation account is prepared in case of admission of a partner. Before the partner is getting admitted, we need to check up with all this, and then alone we are going to start up with the new balance sheet. Now, second step, provision on debtors. What is this provision on debtors? See, debtors are nothing but the customers. So most of our customers are going to be credit based, which means they are going to purchase it from us, or we are going to sell it on credit basis to them. Imagine they have, most of the customers wouldn't have paid the money, what is actually their invoice price is a bill amount. So in this case, what we actually do is we think, let us maintain a provision, some amount to be kept aside in such a case. So that is to be treated as a loss. Almost is going to be treated, because if the concerned customer has not been paid, this amount could be adjusted somehow. But let us see how actually it is. Very simple thing is, if your provision on debtors value is increasing year by year, you have a plan. This year I'm going to increase the provision of debtors because I don't think so that the concerned customers purchasing on credit basis will be paying me or in time, or it is a doubtful for me. In this case, I keep aside increasing the value of the provision. So in that case, it is an expenditure for me. So that I have to take it on the debit side. Suppose the next year, I'm thinking about, based on the performance, yes, the customers are paying the bill in time, so I don't have any much doubtful debts or bad debts, so I need not create any provision. In this case, every year your provision value is going to be decreased. You are decreasing the provision treatment. In this case, that value to be taken up, the difference amount to be taken up on the credit side, which means we are benefited. For example, let me be in a simple way, 1,000 we are going to keep aside every year as per the agreement as provision to debtors. Clear? 1,000. So company for this year, it is deciding, like, we have to increase from 1,000 to 1,500 as a provision. So there is an increase. That 500 is again a expenses for us. It is an additional burden. So what we do, that 500 we have to take it on the debit side. Again, similar, we have found that our performance is better and better, and we are completely claiming it from our customers, from the debtors. In this case, you are deciding, your company is deciding, is from 1,000 of the basic provision, let us reduce 500 from that. So what is the benefit we are going to get it? 500 of your burden is reduced. So that is going to be a benefit. Take it on the credit side. Next, third, we have liability. What is this liability account? Treatment of liability. See, if there is a decrease in creditors value or bills payable value comparing to your previous years, okay, if there is a decrease in your holding the outsiders value, that case you're going to take the difference amount on the credit side. If the same, the creditors value and the bills payable value is increasing again and again, so the difference amount of what is increased will be a debit side because your expenses is increased again. Then moving on to the fourth item, prepaid expenses. Any expenses which we have paid in advance, rent prepaid, salary prepaid, okay, or tax prepaid, paid in advance, anything paid in advance could not be taken up for the concerned year, which means if you have paid, when you are revaluing the account, if you have paid any expenses in advance, the next month's expenses you have paid in advance or to this month itself, so you have to take it on the credit side. Similarly, anything which is yet to be paid, it's still pending, you have to pay, you have to take it on the debit side. And outstanding income, still income is not received, rent is not received, income is not received, interest is not received, commission is not received, all are income. Even though if it is not received, you have to show it on the credit side. Similarly, any income you have received in advance, anything received in advance, rent received in advance, interest received in advance, commission received in advance, we can't treat it for the current period. So it should always be considered for the concerned period of calculation. So what we have to do, we have to take it on the debit side. Then unrecorded asset. See, when you are actually revaluing, you just find out that some of the asset is not there recorded in the book at all. If you find that the asset, you take it on the credit side. If you find a liability, unrecorded liability, forgot to record it, in that case you have to record it on the debit side. So this one, when we are going and for the concern illustration sums, it is easy for us to understand better. Next, so we have completed with this part. These are the main important things which we need to concentrate repeatedly. You will get the same item. So see what should be taken on the credit side, what should be taken on the debit side. Credit side, what comes in, which you are benefited. Debit side, what goes out, which is actually expenses for us. It is a burden for us additionally. Now, similarly, if your income side, that is your credit side, is greater, if your credit side is greater, you get profit on revaluation transferred to the old partner's capital account. If your debit value is greater, you get a loss on revaluation of all assets and liabilities, and that loss is going to be transferred again to the old partner's capital account. Just observe, this is very important. This concept is the main part to be understood. So rest of all the other accounts are just similar like that. So I guess you people are clear with this concept, understood.